So what if you bought a brand new home and you were told that you had a 1-year warranty and you expected to move in that brand new home and everything was going to be perfect and there weren't going to be any issues, no maintenance for at least a year, everything was going to be covered. And then you moved into this brand new home and all you find are issues. And then the people who told you that they would fix any issues that were found weren't responding or weren't fixing the problem as they should have been. Well, today we're at Chuck and Linda's house out here in Crosstown Commons. They bought a house built by Ryan Homes in 2021. And I wanted to share their experience with Ryan Homes with you if you're considering buying a new home or if you're living in a new home and have had similar experiences. I wanted to offer an opportunity for them to share. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Eric McKinnis. I'm a real estate broker here in Port St. Lucie, the Treasure Coast, and the Palm Beaches. I sell a lot of new construction in our area, and I wanted to help you see both the good and the dark side of buying a new home. The new construction idea is a great idea because you have these warranties. You have most builders offer in our area a 10-year structural warranty, a 1-year, what I call bumper to bumper. Okay. Everything that's in there is covered, and any problem you have for the first year should be addressed for a certain, within a certain reason. Um, but everything, if it breaks, should be fixed within the first year. That's sort of the level of comfort that you develop and expect in buying a brand new home.
Right.
Like, think you're buying a brand new home, but you don't necessarily always have no problems. It doesn't mean that there's no issues.
Right.
So in discussing with Jorge what I felt we were trying to accomplish here was if we were able to put this out around, out to the public, there are a lot of people in our area who have purchased new homes, who are having similar issues. Okay. It depends. And it's not really, for the most, there are some builders that have fewer complaints than others. There are some builders at certain times had a lot of complaints versus at other times they didn't have any complaints.
Right.
So over the past 15 years since I've been selling new houses, there are builders that I never heard anything bad about. And recently, over the past 5 years, we've heard a few more complaints. There are builders I've never had any complaints about at all. And there are builders who I've experienced a few nightmares with people who have had, a bad experience in the building process. Ha, it's all right, no problem. So onto your house. We're filming this, so okay. I just want to have a light conversation. You tell me about your experience, and so what we want to accomplish with this is putting it out there for people to see that they're not the only ones who have had problems
Right.
probably with their new construction.
Right.
And I want you to share your experience, the experience you've had in 2021 that you built this home, from the contract, from the time that you wrote the contract to closing, and then afterwards, about your experience both living in Crosstown Commons, your experience with Ryan Homes as taking ownership of a brand new home. Okay. Hi. Can I? He can be part of this, right, Jorge? So,
It's up to that.
are you guys good with that? Great.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, it's family,
Yeah,
the family that lives here.
That's family.
So tell me, guys, from the time you wrote the contract. I know that it's a little backstory on Chuck and Linda Carter is we helped them move up from Green Acres
Right.
into Port St. Lucie. They were a little apprehensive, but their kids moved up here and grandkids are up here, so it was important for them to be close to family.
Right.
So that was a stressful endeavor in itself, selling a home and then buying a brand new home.
Right.
There's a lot of emotion, a lot of apprehension, anxiety associated with that process alone. Now we're working with a brand new builder who's going to buy a brand new house. And we looked at homes for quite a while, right?
That's true.
Been to a lot of old homes, a lot of new homes, a lot of
That's true.
communities.
Yeah.
We took our time. And you guys felt comfortable here. So you decided to move forward with Ryan Homes. Tell me about your experience from there.
The experience with Ryan Homes. I mean, this is our third home,
Brand
brand new home.
Third brand new home.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we had problems, little problems with the other homes, but it was nothing like we have here. I mean, the floors was. I mean, first of all, when we first came here, we had a walkthrough. The walkthrough was only for a few minutes because we had to leave. It was not a
for closing.
yeah. The walkthrough.
So let me
It
get
is-
straight. The first walkthrough you did was right before closing, is that
Right
correct?
before closing. Same
It
day
was
the
rushed
closing.
because
It
you
wa
had to go to the closing.
Right, and plus I had to go to a funeral, so and I was telling telling them that we really don't have the time, and they were saying, "Well, we wanna go ahead and close and everything like that." And so we came in and we was, like rushed through, but we saw some things and we told them about the doors were unlevel, the floor was uneven and everything like that. And they said, "Well, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna do it."
So, out of curiosity, did they give you one of those blue tape rolls? Did they give you anything to mark any of the problems or a list?
They had the blue tape on
Oh
some
yes.
prob
Yes.
Did they give you the tape, or did they hang onto the tape?
they
They
had
had
hung on to it.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Um, so did they make a list, like what's called a punch out list
They did make a punch out list. They did
Okay.
make a punch out list
at that time?
at that time.
Mhm.
And they said they were gonna come in and they were gonna fix everything. But like I said, we couldn't look at everything because we were so rushed.
Mhm.
But so okay, we let it go. Things started, they started coming in and doing some painting and spaculating it,
Touch up work.
touch up work, yes. And then so, we still was having the problems with the floors. The floors were uneven. You had sinks in the floors, like you step down in certain areas and then, you step up in certain areas and make a noise.
Okay, so there were
Yeah,
taps or
yeah.
little
It
potholes in your floor?
it was unlevel, yes.
And
Mhm.
the type of flooring, was it laminate then?
Yeah, but it's an upgrade on the laminate. I can't think of the name of it, but it's an
You guys
upgrade on
paid it for an upgraded
yeah,
laminate.
we paid
Exactly, for an upgraded
we paid
flooring.
that's right, we
Okay.
paid for an upgraded flooring.
So I just wanna back up a little bit. From the time you signed the contract to the time that they actually closed on the home,
Mhm.
how was that experience? Were they good with communication? Do you feel like they reached out, kept you up to speed on developments, construction? Did they close on time?
Yeah, sometime they called, 2 or 3 weeks, they'll call and let us know what the progress was, then sometimes I can hear from
Mhm.
at all, and,
And did they close, and was the house ready in the anticipated amount of time?
Oh, no, no,
they were
no, it was a delay
yeah,
in the closing because of the rain and everything,
it's
so
quite a bit of rain,
so it's a delay in the
during that time, but,
Okay, so after you closed, what was your experience once they handed you the keys and you moved into your home?
we started looking over things to find out more problems that, that we didn't see at that time, during the walkthrough. And, we tried to, get in touch with them, call them, and try to get them out here. And they come out. It was like little small things that they did first, but they could never get the. It was a while before they even started taking care of the floor.
So there was a spectrum of problems that you found once
Mhm.
you moved into the home.
Yeah.
Some were minor, some were more major. You made a phone call, if I understand correctly,
Yeah,
and they were somewhat responsive,
yeah.
and they fixed the more minor
The
issue.
manager, yeah, the painting, the spackling, and stuff like that.
Okay.
But we had trouble,
What were some of the major issues that you found then?
mostly was the floor, this floor.
Mhm.
The floor being
The
uneven.
floor being uneven because, Linda, she does a lot of cooking and she's always in the kitchen. And the worst spots was in that kitchen.
Yes.
Uh, and she fussed about it all the time.
Okay. And what was the reaction from the builder in regards to the floor?
So they came out, they came out and they, patched up. And then one time they had to replace the whole floor. It was so bad.
But
They took the whole floor up and, and then after that,
but
that's when he started doing add something.
yeah, but in the beginning they told us that they were gonna have to move everything out. They were gonna bring one of those pods out and put all the furniture in the pods, and they was gonna build the floor up and then put none of that happened. They fixed it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they told you they were going to do
They
something.
told us they were gonna do it, and they didn't do it. And then when they came out to fix the floor, they said, "Oh, you don't have to move out. We're not gonna move the furniture. We're just gonna set it from side to side, and we're gonna fix different spots in the floor." Okay, so they did that, and we still had the same problem.
Okay.
So they came out again,
That's when they patched it.
yep, and they patched the floor,
Floor.
and they did it in like 2 or 3 days. They said in 2 or 3 days instead of the whole week or 2 that we were gonna have to move into, like a Airbnb or a hotel
Sure.
room, but that didn't happen.
That didn't happen either.
No.
Okay, so they said they were gonna try and take care of it the right way, and they
Right.
ended up
Yeah.
not
I do.
quite delivering on what they
No.
they said they were gonna do.
And that's when the floor we had is shiny gloss tile and then flat wood planks up down.
Okay.
That's when because they didn't have enough to do it, and they could. I guess they didn't find the right tile to match it, but you can see it's not.
The same.
It's not
It's not the
s-
same towel.
Okay. Alright, so now where are we? You have a list here, Linda. What is it that what do you
Okay.
got here?
The windows are offset. When they came in to put in, the blinds, they had a hard time. They said, all your windows are, like, offset, you know?
So they're not
And you can
quite
see the gap.
not
Yeah, you
no.
can see the gaps in you can see the gaps in the way they put the cornices and stuff up.
Uh-huh.
And then like I said, the floors are squeaking. The tiles the tile in the bathroom is cracking.
Uh-huh.
And the seams in the crown molding is like it's not, level. It's just
So
like crack.
poor workmanship in the room.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the doors is uneven.
Okay.
Okay. And the cabinets was coming off the wall.
That's interesting.
Yes, the cabinets were coming off the wall. And we called them and they said, well, it's not under warranty anymore. So we're going to have to, so we had to pay someone to come out and fix the cabinets on the wall.
Wow. I'm sorry you've had that
Yeah,
experience.
and that's sad because you shouldn't have to do that. The doors on the cabinets are uneven. I mean, and then they say, all you got to do is take a screw and tighten it up. And why should we have to do that?
Seems like a pretty simple fix that if you're interested in quality, just send somebody out to do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So that's a pretty disappointing experience.
It is. It really is. It's
It really
these
when you buy, especially a brand new home, you don't expect this. I know that no home's gonna be perfect,
oh
but when you start having structural, I mean, like the floors and stuff like that, that you don't want to do.
and cabinets coming off the wall.
Oh yeah,
You think you'd have at least a certain amount of time before anything major,
Right.
like your cabinets falling off your wall.
Right.
and especially after owning two brand new homes prior to this one, and what we would do with those was nothing.
Yeah. So this isn't your first experience with a brand new home either. So, well, I'm sorry that you've had that experience. The idea here is to share this with your experience with other people that uh, might be experiencing the same thing. And maybe if there's a little bit more attention given to it, that these products will hopefully be delivered at a higher standard with more accountability from the builders and maybe a higher desire to provide a quality product.
Exactly, it's just bad when you got a builder, you trust a builder, if you build it, then you stand behind your work,
I agree,
you should stand behind your work, make the people that bought from you, happy.
for sure.
Yeah, they don't care. It's sad.
I'm sorry to hear that. So we've gotten, the feedback on the quality of the product that was delivered to you. Tell me what your thoughts are on Crosstown Commons. How do you like living in this area?
The area is nice. The neighbors are nice. I mean, I it took some getting used to, but like I said, everyone is nice. So I love Crosstown Commons in a way because of the neighbors and everything. But I just don't like the way it was handled with the builders.
So your experience in Crosstown Commons might be slightly tainted because of
Yes,
the experience you've had with the home in which you live.
that's right.
That's it's too bad. So as the real estate agent that helped you buy this house, in my opinion, the reason that I am very interested in the house was built in 2021. So you've been here for 3.5 years.
Right.
Um, I always like to know, like, there are certain builders that I won't take people to because I've not had a great experience with them. because I've made the way through a transaction where the buyers weren't kept in the loop on developments in the house, the progress of the build. They were left questioning when they would close, how things are being done, how things are coming along. But then after uh the the home was finished and got its certificate of occupancy and owners take possession, they have had similar experiences, but to a further extent. And so I just won't take people to those builders anymore. Um, and so following up with you is good for me to understand what your experience has been because I do care. And um, I want to know that you had a good experience in the home in which I helped you find. So I'm sorry that you've had that experience, but hopefully with something like this, we can see if this will help change
Right,
the way the builders are feel comfortable with delivering homes that just are substandard.
right.
So thank you for sharing your experience. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to share with people who are thinking about buying a new home? What kind of advice can you lend?
You sure you want to hear the advice? My advice is don't buy a Ryan home. I've heard so many neighbors complain about different things in their home, in the neighborhood, and some are willing to talk to you about their experience. And when they're having sinks falling down and all of this other stuff, and it's really annoying. And yes, and towels popping up off the floors and stuff like that. My son had towels just replaced because his was popping up. I'm sitting in the kit with my grandkids, and I'm hearing this big loud noise like a gunshot. I go in the kitchen, and my grandchild is only 15 months old, and the towel is up off the floor. Now, if he had gone in there, he could have gotten hurt. So they came out now, and they did replace the tiles, but it was like they had to stay with me for a few days, about a week or so they can replace the whole tile in the entire home.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for sharing your experience. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we can see a difference coming up in the future.
Thank you so much. Yes.
For sure. So what do you think Chuck and Linda should do? Feel free to share your comments down below and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.